Alright, we are back to hop over to turn 38. Citadels are done. Crossbows are coming in. Soldiers are coming in. The troops are getting ready. We'll probably just do like a push on these planes to demonstrate how nuts combat in this can get. Especially when you have large armies with mages and everything else. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, that super combatant I made does work. He's not as good. There are factions that are a lot better at doing what I did with him and can basically do it with less. Would be an easy way to look at it. Now, having priest-smiths is huge. We'll get to why in a second. Because there are very nice spells you can cast with them, specifically at Evocation 6, which I will hopefully be able to showcase. So in 2 turns, we'd be able to show that legendary artifacts exist, which would also be nice, but, you know, whatever. Boop-a-doop. I don't need, like, 15 of you. That wasn't quite 15, but whatever. Boop. Boop. There we go. Line. We'll actually set this line further back. Hold an attack closest. We'll actually put you guys further back. Fire and keep distance. Stay behind troops. I mean, if I was really... I don't think I have the paths for it, honestly, is the big problem. But if I was really trying... Okay, I have one option. I would be forging a few Just Man's Crosses. Which I am going to go ahead and do right now. They're not great crossbows, but, you know... What else is your commander doing, really? That is not what I meant to do. I'll go 50. And yeah, this place is already pumping out crossbows, so that's good. So yeah. We're going to gear up, and in a couple of turns, we'll have a giant battle in Canaan to cap this series off, really. And so yeah, like as you can see, he actually killed 20 people and did not die. Though somebody got a kill on their own side, I'm guessing. So he's got his fire shield, he's got his protection, he's got a helmet, he's got his shield. And he is just going to charge in. So those javelins went in, none of them hit him. So as you can see, the fire shield is kicking in. These guys are trying and failing to attack him, and they are taking damage. Some of them are even being lit on fire. Burned to death. They are failing that shock and getting stunned. He has taken a bit of fatigue this time. But, yeah, see, he took damage and he just regened it. So apparently he regens 5 health a turn. I said 4 earlier. So they are occasionally getting him for good damage. Like, he just took, like, 6 to 10 there. But he regens some of it back. Plus, with his shock hammer that he just goes kabam with, he stuns. So boom. See, none of those units can now act. Plus he's regenning. Plus he has all that reinvigoration that's keeping his fatigue low, despite the fact that he's been in sustained melee combat. The one thing I would like to give him that he doesn't currently have is fatigue resistance. He could really... not fatigue, affliction resistance. Because that is the one concern. It hasn't happened yet. But if he gets afflictions, that's it. Really. But yeah, so he just dealt all that. His fatigue is staying down. Staying down to like nothing. Yep, and he just recovered 7. So like this works. It's not an ideal super combatant, but it will do in a pinch. So we are going to bring him up to Canaan for that epic showdown that's going to happen. I'd want to put more points in evocation if these guys also had the Iron Blizzard. Iron Blizzard is just nuts. It is absolutely insane. Like, these guys do have access to Blade Wind, and they will be able to cast it because after Summon Earth Power, every one of these guys with Earth Boots will be a level 3 Earth Mage. Because that's what Summon Earth Power does. Ideally, I would have people with good cross paths to do some things, but I don't, so I can't. Like, one of the things you want to do with Earth Astral gives you access to, for short, the Crystal Gear. I say Crystal because everything in it has Crystal in the name. Astral 2, Earth 2, this Crystal Coin bumps up Astral Magic. The Crystal Shield, again, with that power of the spheres. Also gives you access to these matrices, this Crystal and Slave Matrix. They are a way to artificially create what's called communions. Communions are powerful. Every astral army you run into will use communions. Just flat out. It's what they do. Because what communions do is basically, it links a bunch of mages together. So, like, if I could, like right now though, my god is the only one who can forge them. So it would be slow going. And because normally it's an astral spell in, I believe, Thaumaturgy. Yeah, level 1, Communion Master and Communion Slave. Those are just always on, basically. If they have those slave matrices and whatnot. Slave matrices basically have it so they always have Communion Slave active, and then the Crystal Matrix makes it so that whoever has the Crystal Matrix has Communion Master always. So what it does is everyone that has a Communion Slave basically loses their spellcasting ability. They stop being able to really do anything. And however, the Communion Master gets bonuses to every magic path based on how many slaves you have. So, like, if you have 2 slaves, they get an extra +1 in paths. I'm not sure if the paths they get +1 in is based on what they have or what the slaves have, but either way, they're getting magic paths. And in addition, every time they cast a spell, like, you know, let's actually go back to Blade Wind, because Blade Wind's a good example of this. Like, normally, that's 80 fatigue for a level 3 mage. Casts a lot of spell, like a lot of effects with a lot of range for good damage, but 80. You're only popping maybe one of these before your mage is now passed out. But in a communion, that 80 basically gets distributed amongst the communion slaves. And the Communion Master takes next to none of that. So not only is the Communion Master able to cast higher level spells, like if it was Fire and Earth, they'd be able to do Magma Eruption, things like that. Of course, since they are a higher level, taking less fatigue initially, because they are that higher artificial level, but all of the fatigue they would take gets shunted to the entire group. So it's basically one giant uber pool of fatigue, which yes, can ramp up very alarmingly very quickly. Now, you guys forge more earth boots. More earth boots. Because one thing that's a shame is I can't get these guys up to, well, the god can, to forging iron faces. Iron faces are very nice because it automatically casts the iron skin, which, as you can see on the bottom, increases the unit's natural protection by 3 or up to protection 20, whichever is greater. So, and that's the natural protection. So, like, even if and that had no encumbrance, you'll notice. So if I give that to a mage, his protection is now 20. He's not dying. That said, I would like to give you that, and now you can actually forge those. So let's go ahead and get some iron faces. Iron faces are nice. They make people tanky that are not otherwise tanky. Let's just forge a black steel helmet. They're not great, but hey, it's better than nothing. And it's one of the downsides to this as well, I'm noticing, is all of their good commanders. Well, I guess the cave captain is good, but all of their really good commanders, granted they're only really good because of the bless is inspirational, but are also capital only. Are you seeing a trend here? Because I sure am. They are unfortunately quite capital dependent. Not as much for summons, but which actually we're going to go ahead and have. Yeah, it can only be cast at the roots of the earth, so like you lose that, but all attentive statues. You know what? I think we're going to go attentive statues just because you can mass them easier, because it's 2. You get 2 per cast, which, given that I would like to do the massive battle this episode and just wrap this series up before I actually dive into a semi-serious game. It'll be against easy comms, is why I say semi-serious, but set. So we're gonna let this go. Grain Gate, Hurricane, and the construction of Castle and Asperia is done. Cool. Actually, you know what? Go ahead and forge a Just Man's Cross for Alfred. But yeah, like Balthazar. We'll move him. We'll move everybody over. We'll use all the supplies as we get ready. Close enough. Now, Adolf here is going to get a Just Man's Cross, which lets me actually just set up Fire and Keep Distance. Actually have him do Fire and Keep Distance at rearmost enemies, because this will give a good chance to snipe mages. That's one of the things. People say, well, why don't you? For whatever reason, I guess it's a balance thing. You cannot tell regular archers to fire rear. Only commanders get fire rear. As such, construct a lab real quick so that way they can get access to some of the stuff I've been doing. Gunderic. So yeah, getting ready for the massive battle. It will be epic and horrifying, but still epic. that's going to do it for that. Statues and Sentinel. Breakgate. Where's Breakgate? Have a word with these gentlemen. Because that irritates me. I thought I had adjusted my defenses, but evidently not. I missed a spot, apparently. So go have a word with them. Actually, they'll do here, as an attack closest setup. Let's give him that mob. 6/7 Earth Power, and gives Earth Magic bonus 1 and Reinvigoration 4, which is very nice. So you want to do that as early as possible, because now he's getting Reinvigoration, and he can cast, like, Legions of Steel. Like, you know what? We'll have this guy be a buff guy. That's going to be what I have him do. We'll just put him here. This guy we'll put here, and we'll have him do the same thing. Summon Earth Power, and then, yeah, Legions of Steel. Just spam Legions of Steel. Legions of Steel does cost a fair bit of magic, so he will probably pass out in a little bit, but that is fine. I don't expect much from him. Now, you are going to be a Summoner Earth Power, and then Blade Wind. I fully expect him to be out on his ass. You... I don't know. Earth Power, and then... I guess Strength of Giants, the back line. Yeah, actually, if we can get you, like, right there, buff those boys. Now you... Actually, yeah, I know. We'll take care of that. If you don't have the requirements for something you're setting up, it'll yell at you in red. So what you can do is... Bam. He now has 20 Earth Gems on his person, so he can summon Lesser Earth Elementals up to 20 times. And that's just going to be what he does. So, yeah, all of these guys are now set. I made some other stuff. What did I do? Yeah, so we're going to give him that. So now, yeah, he has Iron Face, which gives him extra protection there. Now his protection is up to 24, because his natural protection is 20. And then he has some extra from the magic robes and a helmet on top of that. So he is sitting pretty. Guess we'll give Stoneheart this black steel helmet and boots. And yeah, so this army is ready to go. You, and you. All go there. Yeah, I attempted it. It didn't work because I've got province defenses for days. So with the lab done, congratulations, you get a Just Man's Cross. And you get a Just Man's Cross. And you get Earth Boots. And you get Earth Boots. Now, here we go. We'll just do this. Gonna send some of these boys in. All of these boys in. Now, here's what's gonna happen with these boys. You are going to summon Earth Power. And then you're just gonna spam Iron Blizzard. You're not even gonna bless. Cast spells. You know what? We'll put you next to him. We'll have you cast Bless. It doesn't really matter. I didn't make a good Bless for these guys. And then you're going to summon Earth Power. And you are also going to just spam Iron Blizzard. For all you're worth. Now, boys with the Just Man's Cross. Fire and keep distance rearmost. That's going to be it from these boys. Now, Folk. Where are you, Folk? We're going to stick you here. You're going to summon Earth Power. You're going to pop that Incinerate. Well, it looks like it's just a one-person spell, which could be useful, but nah. Okay, I already have Summon Earth Power. You're going to be on cast spells. I could do the Summon Spam out of you. Gonna Bless. Gonna do Inferior Armaments. It's gonna knock him out, but that's fine. And go ahead and pop your Incinerate a couple times, I guess. But part of that, he does need 2 Earth Gems. Which he now has. Who else is moving? Alaric. Summon Earth Power. And Phoenix Power. Get you up to 3 each. Now, at 3 each, we're going to go ahead and have you spam Magma Eruption. Because that's normally 50 fatigue, now it's 25. And thanks to Summon Earth Power, you have Reinvigoration. You'll be fine. You're going to go up there. Who else is moving? Am I sending anyone else? I should be. I will send Carlamon. So you don't have Fire 2, so you can't cast Phoenix Power, which is unfortunate. You can, however, pop Legions of Steel ad infinity. Because you'll be 4, so that'll only cost you 20 fatigue. And again, with Earth Power, it's 4 reinvigoration, so that helps. Because of what you do, we're just going to put you right there. And Carloman, you're going to move on it as well. Gunderic, sorry, you're going to be late, because this is just the insanity. There's keyboard shortcuts that let you edit, like, things that are on the way, and, like, everything in that screen, but whatever. I don't know them, so it's not going to happen. That break gate, oh, wow, he actually failed. He died. That's rough. Problem is, of course, knights have this lance charge bonus on the first strike, half strength of the charging unit, but that's basically adds half their strength again to the damage. So that first impact knights do is quite a bit of damage, and so I guess they just alpha struck him down, which is unfortunate because that means all of that gear went to the knight commander in that group. Yep, so you see they just wiped him down. Yeah, so that knight commander got all that loot. But that's why you'll hear me saying, like, you know, like, I don't have a good chassis for that, because that can happen. And when it does, you're kind of SOL. So the army is set up, except for Libar. Libar and his boys. We'll actually go ahead and put them in the back to confuse attack rear orders, since they're, you know, undisciplined anyway, and I can't actually tell them anything. Actually, let's move you guys a little bit further back. Because I want these guys to stay clear because of Living Mercury. Yeah, everyone else is more or less set up. So we'll just let this go. Here we go. The big closing battle of this series. Yep, it's actually got to sit down and load it out. 56 rounds. Who won? Has been conquered. We lost a Priesmith. We lost a Commander of Ulm. We lost a ton of Blackplate infantry. We lost some crossbows. So we lost 171 of the 508 people that went in. This isn't even that big. Province defenses, 69 losses. The actual Agarthan troops, 286 died. Lost 3 of the 5 Earth Readers, but none of the Oracles. So a lot of the strength of this army is still good to go. Having said that, a lot of these did die. Let's go ahead and watch this, shall we? Because this is going to be good. So you have the Ulmic army over here. You've got the Insanity army over there. So the arrows start flying in and immediate large damage. That attack rear hits. And it honestly might have already killed one of the Ulmish commanders. If not, it probably will soon. What's he got going on again? Okay, so he's got his Power of the Spheres. He is a level 2 fire, level 5 earth mage. He's got his earth boots. He's got his empowerments. Yep, there's those trogs coming in. Oh, there's that blade hit for good damage. And then there's that. There's the iron wizards coming in. Like, there is just so much going on. Yeah. he is recovering because he cast that. He popped Incinerate. What's sacred over here? Or was it? Oh, the Granite Guardians are sacred, right? Because it's Agartha. So the statues of the Pale Ones are sacred. Statues of humans are not, though, so it's whatever. Well, those guys still have rusty stuff, actually. See, that Iron Blizzard just sweeps in against magic units and just does not care. So we are starting to see some rout from the front lines, but... This is the stuff I look for. So yeah, that Blade Wind sweeps in. God, I might honestly just do a... That's what happened, is this left flank collapsed. So they were looking around and killed. But, like, most of their army was already out of the field. They got some long dead summoning going on in the back. Looks like it could have gone differently if only the troops from there had stayed around. Because all Ulm has left is the crossbows and mages. And that Iron Blizzards and Iron Darts just sweeping in to mad damage to those retreating troops. Let's do that one more time at fastest speed at the furthest zoom out I can do. So there's the battlefield. Boom. So you can really get a feel of what's going on. So that was that inferior. That actually might be what caused the rusty, equipment setup. You can already see that side. It's too much towards the center. And then there's just that steady stream out the back that... So crossbows had fallen all the way back on that fire to keep distance. Machine gunning down the stragglers. So they just murked him in melee. Whew, boy. That was nuts. And battles can get worse than that. That's the thing. All told, I didn't even lose half the troops I came in with this army. The defenders did lose more than half of their troops and more than half the defenders, but that was nuts. They lost. Yeah, the troglodytes did not break. They just died. The defenders of the halls died. Frickin' the ancient ones broke. The ancient ones broke like a bitch, as did the archers, but that's not a surprise. Independent units typically have lower stats than any national equivalent. Like, there are independent crossbowmen, is why I'm not going for a direct comparison there, but, like, yeah, the Agarthan infantries just died. Ancient Ones routed. Archers routed. The random Atlantean militia died. The Constructs died. The Banes routed, but they did work before they left. The Defenders of the Halls died en masse. Gargoyles died. Granite Guardian died. Got 2 kills, though. The Heavy Infantries just got wiped. Horse Tribe just got wiped. Living Mercury died. To deceptive effect, because remember, if the poison cloud that it had killed anything, it doesn't get the kill for that. The Magma Children did work and died. Pale One Soldiers just died. Sentinels kinda did work and died. Shard Guardians broke. But the defensive Horse Tribe did damage, but yeah, that is 58 made it back to friendly territory. But yeah, and the most wild part of this is, yes, that was a victory. Yes, that was a win. But, and there's a but there, this is still recoverable. More to the point, since that's there, they can just get a bunch of the wet ones with armor and try to come up here or here, like somewhere along the coast. Or move some of these troops, and, you know, the troops I don't know exist, up over. That's not even particularly damaging a battle that big for either side. Because again, I can just spam more, spam more, spam more. Now that I've taken this territory, I'd like to take that castle. Like, it's probably where I'd send troops next. And deal with that. But I hope that emphasizes just how big the scale of this gets and how nuts it was. Like, let's recheck that. How many kills did my priest-smiths? Yeah, the priest-smiths. Those 3 priest-smiths alone, spitting out iron blizzards, got 118 kills. The master-smiths, the magma eruption one probably, because I had one that was just buffing, 23 kills. Mages can do. These ones didn't. Probably because they were buffing, aside from the one that was summoning skeletons. For the most part, buffing and summoning earth elementals for however long he could. I don't know how much of that he actually did, but yeah, and so yeah, all of that found stuff, that's just other commanders that were here picking up the gear from those 2 dead guys. It was one of the Just Man's Cross commanders, and the priest-smith that I had given all that gear to. But yeah, 118 kills there. Like, even the crossbowmen and the black plate infantry. Like, the crossbowmen did... It took 247 crossbowmen the entire time to do more damage than 3 priest-smiths. But part of that is just because there's that many troops involved. Mages are most effective in big battles like this, where they can... Their area of effect blasts can take out a bunch of people. This is where mages can really make the difference. In a smaller battle, mages' effects aren't as pronounced, primarily just because there's less people involved. But yeah, that was nuts. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this. Next time, like I said, I will actually be going against easy comms instead of just playing against myself here without any repercussions for this. Life goes on. Yeah, one of the things I do want to show real quick before I go is the reason I wanted Earth Mages is, okay, even level 1 ones can make this. This Endless Bag of Wine. Endless Bags of Wine are great. Cornucopias if you can. Though they require Nature Magic 3. and more gems to do effectively endless bags of wine, give you extra 50 extra supplies. Cornucopia does that same thing, but it also gives at the start of combat 2 nature gems, meaning a mage with that gets 2 free spell casts basically of spells that they would normally have to pay for. So you want nature mages because again this, and then at the same level you can forge cornucopias. You can also forge these enormous cauldrons of broth, which are the same deal. Supply bonus 100. Put that into perspective. Like, let me find one of them. Yeah, Herman here can only command 100 guys. So if you slap a cauldron of enormous broth on this guy, he's set. He doesn't have to worry about supplies anymore. Period. Same with Balthazar here. You slap it on any of them, they don't have to worry about supplies. Ever. It's over. It's done. They're good. Yeah, they're old, so old people get afflictions faster. And just get them randomly. Well, he's not old, but he, I guess, took a hit in that battle. But, yeah. So, that's one of the big things nature magic can do for you. And like, because again, remember, I do have it on 200% supplies, so supplies are not really an issue if you flip on any of these areas. Like, the worst is this wasteland here at 399. So, like, yeah, even everybody that's left with the army, which admittedly was not my full forces, and is significantly reduced from what went into this battle, but even that can survive in a wasteland at 200%. And this forests are also, that forest at least is also pretty bad. Resource-wise. So that, wow, there's literally no resources here because it's all getting pulled by these castles, by these citadels. Yeah, that's the very big downside to having multiple castles pulling like this, is the in-between gets 0 resources. But the trade-off is, you know, these castles have a ton of resources, which is the trade-off. You get a crap ton of resources here, and again, you need a fort to get your national units, which are better than the randoms. Unless it's like Agartha, where you need them to fill a role, like archers, that you otherwise wouldn't have access to. So yeah, this is Dominions. This is the showcase. Hope to see you next time where I go whole hog against comms instead of just myself. I will see you then. Bye-bye.